Hello, and welcome to another Home Sold, a show about Wellesley real estate, where you hear from the experts on the things you need to know about whether you're going to buy a new home, maintaining your property, or preparing to sell your home. I'm your host and realtor, Steven.Verdelli with Coldwell-Banker, Wellesley's #1 real estate company for 24 years in a row. Today we have Ed Miller from Miller Plumbing and Heating. Ed, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Steve, for having me. I appreciate
it. You know, plumbing and heating is so important. When people go through homes, they're usually looking at the structure of the home, exterior of the home, sometimes the roof. But very rarely do people ever actually flush the toilets, turn on the faucets, and look at the internal organisms of the home that are so important, which can unfortunately sometimes be a problem after they buy the home when they discover these things. And although people do have home inspections, it's always important, I think, to do a sort of a pre-inspection when you're looking at a house at the open house or when you're going back to take a second look. So I was really pleased when you were able to come on to the show today and talk a little bit about the homes, what people need to look at when they're looking to buy a home or even maintaining their own home or getting ready to sell it. First of all, Ed, I just want to know a little bit about you. You too, like me, are a Wellesley native.
Oh yeah, Wellesley, born and bred, class of '84, Wellesley High.
Great, right on.
Still living
Go
in the
Raiders.
area. Yeah, I go Raiders. I've been family business for a long time. Father was in Wellesley, born and raised. My grandfather moved here when he was 13, so I pretty know everywhere in town.
And you are a master plumber and HVAC contractor as well.
Correct.
So tell a little bit about what that means.
A master plumber is, I can hire people. I've had to do 5 years of apprenticeship for someone else, another plumber, another master plumber. Had to work as a journeyman for a year. Then I take the final exam for a master plumber. And it's continuing education's completely involved, as long as many things I can attend to learn more knowledge.
Okay.
HVAC contractor is a different license. It's more of a sheet metal license, handling ventilation and air conditioning equipment, which also I had to attend schools for. No continuing ed for that quite yet.
But you essentially hold 2 degrees here.
Pretty much
one
so,
plumbing
yes.
and one in HVAC.
Correct.
Okay, good to know. Let's talk a little bit about what to look for when people are going to look at a home. I mean, people come through and they think, well, the water's running, that's a good thing. But what should people really be looking at when you're looking to buy it? Let's first talk about a home that's, say, maybe built in the 1930s.
Oh, yeah, the mechanics on an older home, you really have to look at hot water heaters, the boiler, the heating systems, what they actually have, how old they are. Does it look like it's not very well and aged? You can tell the age on a hot water heater just from the tag on a hot water heater.
Okay.
Just go around and make sure all the faucets work, make sure they're not jiggling and wiggling around. Does it sound loud when you start operating things? There's potential problems there.
So let's just start with hot water tanks. Just because you just recently changed mine in my house.
I know, I had to.
So those are about 10 years, correct?
10 years. The 10-year warranty, you may get 10 to 12 years out of them, but you really have to keep an eye on them once they reach that 10. It's a warranty.
Okay. So 10 years, does that affect, the use of it? If you've got 6 people taking showers every day or 2 people taking showers every day?
No, it's the age.
It's just the age.
It's the age. They're engineered. Engineers know when things are going to break.
Okay.
You just keep an eye on it. If you start seeing rusty water coming out of your hot faucet, call the plumber, because it's time.
So rusty water coming out or some bubbling on top with a little
corrosion
bit of
around it if you're looking at it, but a true warning sign is before it's going to go, rusty water will come out of your hot side tap.
Okay.
And then it's a yellowish green.
Okay.
You'll know.
All right. Yellowish green every 10 years. Keep an eye on your hot water heater.
Some plumbers do take the short end and sell you a 5-year to a 6-year tank. Always make sure you're trying to get a little bit bang for your buck by buying a 10-year tank.
Now, oil tanks as we know them, or the freestanding, 50 gallons, but now people are also going to tankless, correct?
Oil? Are we talking oil tanks
I'm
or
sorry,
hot water tanks?
Water tanks.
Yeah, freestanding hot water tanks. You can go tankless. You can go, if you have a hot water boiler system, you can go with an indirect, which is a little bit more efficient than just the tankless water hangers that hang on the wall.
Okay. Great. So let's also talk now a little bit about shut-off valves and that kind of emergency stuff that people need to know about that they don't think about. They go on a European vacation for 3 weeks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they come back and there's a big problem.
Yeah, if you travel for an extended weekend, it's a good idea to know where your water main is and shut it off. You don't know how many homes I've gone into and seen that the washing machine hoses have burst and have been running for a couple days. Hot water heaters leaked. A running toilet will cost you a lot of money in a sewer bill if it's running for a prolonged time.
So does the weather have an effect if you're shutting the water off with water in the pipes?
Well, it's a good idea. If it gets really cold like it was this winter, yeah, if you're away, I would shut off the water. At least any water, if those pipes freeze and burst,
Okay.
will be just the water in the pipes, not the water coming from the street, because that's a disaster.
So you shut the water off and then sort of can you open the faucets and let them drain
Yeah,
out?
let them drain out.
Okay.
Flush the toilets if you want. It's always a good idea, just I think, if you shut the water main, leave the pressure in the pipes, because that way you know you have a problem when you come home and you do turn your water main back on.
Okay.
You know if you have a runny toilet, because the toilet will start to run.
Okay.
These things, especially when you come home, all those things will repressurize and you'll find out you have a leak.
Okay.
That way you can shut it off quick before any damage happens also.
Okay, good to know. So let's talk a little bit about new homeowners. New homes happens. People are buying new homes right out of, right from builders and contractors. And we assume everything is going to work properly. Not always the case.
True.
So let's talk a little bit about if you were buying a new home or a home that's been recently renovated. What do people need to look for?
I'll definitely check with the town, make sure the permits have been pulled for any renovations and that they've been signed off by the local inspectors. Because a lot of people do try to sneak in a fixer-upper, pretty up the bathroom without pulling a permit, and sometimes you can see disasters after the fact, especially a year later.
Yeah. So permits, make sure the work is done properly.
Yeah, make sure the
and
permits
it's been signed off on.
Correct.
As well as new homes, as well as homes that have been
yes.
renovated.
Yes.
Okay. Back again to the heating systems. How often do people need to have these heating systems inspected or serviced?
Actually, with all mechanics, you should at least do every other year a minimum to come in and have somebody take a look. Air conditioning systems, you should done every year. Unless you're going to maintain your own filters and your own condensate lines, because I've gone into a lot of homes where the condensate line's been plugged and it's created huge stains through ceilings or lost ceilings, or you don't want the problematic call of paying somebody like me money to come change an air filter when you can do it yourself.
But certainly people could call you up as a preventative maintenance
Oh,
issue
absolutely.
to come through, take a look at it and show me how to do these things in my own home.
Yeah.
Now, big issue, converting from oil to gas. You know, we all walk into these homes in Wellesley that have been running on oil, and their oil tanks are the size of this table. They look like octopuses with 100 different valves coming off of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's oil on this or gas on the street, sometimes there's not. So if somebody wants to actually convert, you can help them with that.
Correct. We can work with me to contract the gas company. We find out where the gas line is it big enough to come into the house, how much it would cost from the gas company to contract that to your home. They hang the meter bar. From there, we pipe in and change out the heating system. Once again, we'd have to talk to any gas provider in the area.
Sure. Your local gas provider, but you will work as the sort of the go-between
Yes.
between the customer and the gas company to organize that, getting the new gas burner in. It requires a new burner. You can't just convert over the oil one.
They do have what they call conversion burners for gas, but they're not efficient. They'll actually cost you more money to operate than the oil. But you'd better off, at that point, you're better off changing your whole heating equipment. Get more of a energy efficiency.
So on average, Ed, I'm not going to hold you to these numbers, but what would somebody save, say going from the 1930s burner, what are they spending per dollar, you think, on oil that's going out the window compared to an efficient one from switching over to gas and going at high efficiency?
Switching to gas is going to save you a few bucks, even though oil prices have come down. They've actually dropped quite a bit recently. From going to a 1930s to a conventional heating system now, thousands of dollars.
Okay.
In 2 year time.
Which would essentially pay for the
Oh yeah,
renovation itself.
yeah, quick.
Great, and add additional value to your home, resale value. Let's talk a little bit about, while we're on the topic of meters, irrigation systems.
Correct.
Sometimes, 10 years ago even, which is not that recent, people never had a second meter for the irrigation system for their yards, unfortunately. And then we're hesitant about running them for the cost. Tell them a little bit about that, how that works.
Well, Wellesley's a great town. You can buy a second meter that ties in. The town will actually come in and install a second meter for your irrigation. And then from there, a plumber has to pipe it to the irrigation backflow preventer outside. It's the water bill for anywhere with MWRA. 2/3 of that water bill, you're paying for sewer. That 1/3 that would be just going for irrigation is a huge savings.
That is huge.
Huge, huge. It's going to pay for itself also.
So this is something that you guys can do on the internals of somebody's house and assist the homeowner with getting the meter through the town.
We call the town, we give them set up the time to shut the water main down and come in and have them install the meter, and we pipe it from there.
That's great, right. So let's talk a little bit about maintenance tips again on the homes. You guys do everything. I know you guys have done big jobs for me, and you've also come and done small little jobs. So let's talk just a little bit about preventative maintenance and tips that you can give people on maintaining their homes.
For mechanical things, just making sure all the valves, you go around to all the valves, turn them every once in a while, just because when you do have a problem and that valve doesn't operate, then it costs you actually more money than it would be taking 5 minutes every once a year and turn on valves.
So what are the valves that you're talking about?
Oh, shut off under the toilet, which hopefully there is one.
Okay.
Shut offs underneath your sink. The water main itself should be turned. Just like you or I, if we don't move for a long period of time, we're stuck in that spot. So it's a good idea to exercise the valves and give it some maintenance. Every once in a while, pour some white vinegar down your drains, your laundry drain, your lavatory drain, your kitchen sink. It's a natural way to break up grease and soap scum, and it keeps the drains moving freely.
So white vinegar
White
over
vinegar.
something that you could buy at the store.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the drain cleaners. They actually create more damage than they do, especially on older homes. They actually, the acid in it, because it is an acid, eats the pipes.
Oh.
So it's a better idea. White vinegar, hot water, great old grandma's trick.
So hot water and white vinegar mixed together, down the sinks, down the toilets. Everything just kind of keeps them clean and fresh. Okay.
Yeah. For your garbage disposal, throw some ice cubes in there and run it. It actually cleans the garbage disposal out and keeps the cutting heads nice and sharp.
Oh, I didn't know that. Right. Ice cubes down the garbage, I suppose. Down the garbage. Wow. Great. Let's talk a little bit about visible stains that should appear. Not necessarily ones from my stand, because we see a lot of those. But in the basement, second floor, obviously if you're in a room where there's a bathroom above you and you're seeing a visible stain, how do you even attack this?
Well, you got to really check, see where the visible stain is. Is it, well, this winter, ice dams are going to leave a visible stain.
Yep.
But if it's underneath a bathroom, see if, first thing I'd look at is your toilet rocking back and forth. That would mean the flange is broken or the bolts is dripping on the toilet, because Wellesley did have very hard water at one time. It's gotten a lot better. That those bolts are just made out of brass and they do rot, and it doesn't take much for them to start weeping. And it's a rubber gasket.
So is there a life expectancy that people should expect with toilets and things like that?
No, that's hard to say. Really, it's things start, you notice things starting to, like a runny toilet means the parts need to be replaced.
Yep.
Especially in toilets, people who use the chlorine tablets in the tank, actually not a good idea, because that's a chlorine tablet. It eats the rubber on the toilets. It creates you to lose your flappers quicker. The fill valves are made out of plastic. It starts to eat those too. They're not the greatest idea.
So don't put things in the actual tank.
Tank itself.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have to lift up the lid and put something in there,
Not
it's
a
not
good
a good
idea.
idea.
Nothing should go in the tank.
No,
Okay.
just water.
Okay. So get a scrub brush and vinegar and just get to work.
White vinegar, I'm telling you,
All right.
it's a great product.
There's going to be a run on white vinegar at Roach Brothers.
Yeah, that's all.
All right, stain ceilings, we talked about that. and faucets and shut-off valves and drains, preventing for winterization. I know winter's over now, but still, this is where people are going to be traveling, and we could still get a freeze every now and then. We don't want any pipes to freeze.
Yes.
So the best deal here is to what now?
Don't turn your heat off.
Yep.
Turn it down maybe 55 degrees and shut your water main down. Because once again, if you have a problem, it's only going to be what's in your house, not from the street.
Okay.
Because I've seen disasters as well as you have from that happening.
I have seen that. Great. Ed, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Steve. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Next, we're going to be going to 48 Shirley Rd with Felicia Captain. Felicia, thanks so much for coming on the show today and talking about this great house.
Hi, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Tell me a little bit about yourself first, Felicia.
Okay. Well, I'm a broker at Coldwell-Banker in Wellesley, and I currently live in Weston, and I sell homes in the Metro West area, focusing on Wellesley and Weston. And I have the pleasure of listing this home at 48 Shirley Rd in Wellesley.
Great. So, Felicia, in addition to being a broker and living in Weston and working in Wellesley, you've also traveled internationally.
I have. I've lived overseas. I've lived in Egypt and in London, and I'm very familiar with the challenges of having to move your family not only across the Atlantic, but, you know, within a small town as well.
Your family and all of its contents with that goes with that. And you are also one of our foreign speakers in the office.
Yes, I speak Greek and French and a little bit of Spanish.
Great.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about this wonderful home. I love Shirley Rd. I got to tell you that. I love the whole Fells area.
It's a great street.
This is a great street and a great area.
Yes.
So we've got here a center entrance colonial.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about this house.
Well, it was built in 1957, and it had an addition put onto it in 2003. They actually added a wonderful family room and dining area and kitchen area. And the second floor also has an addition that includes a wonderful master bedroom with 2 very generous sized closets and a lovely ensuite bathroom.
Great. Let's start with the kitchen. So the kitchen is 17 by 22.
Yes, the kitchen was done during that particular renovation, and actually it has a, when the owners purchased the home back in 2007, they converted the home from oil to gas. So the stove top now is electric, but if someone chose to, they could have add a gas top cooker.
And we just had a plumber on, so we've got
Yes,
the plumber
there
to
we
help you
go.
out with that. Wonderful. Stainless steel appliances, granite
steel.
countertops,
Yes.
beautiful gooseneck faucet.
Yes, and it has a nice area for children to eat their breakfast at the breakfast bar there. And what's nice about where the sink is positioned in the particular home is that you can look out into the beautiful fenced-in flat backyard while a mom or dad is doing the work in the kitchen, and they can see their children playing in the backyard.
I like the size of this island, because
Yes.
not only is it great for when you're feeding kids, but when you're entertaining at night, you can sit at the bar right here.
Yes, it's a wonderful
and people
place.
tend to congregate
Yes,
right there in
that's
the
right.
kitchen.
That's right.
Now, moving into the living room, these look like new oversized windows. Is this part of the addition? And the living room is 11 by 23.
Yes, the living room features beautiful windows that overlook the backyard and also a beautiful bluestone patio. And so the kitchen, actually, you can access the patio from the kitchen, so it's lovely to have a grill in the back so you can have people over for cookouts, and you can easily access the outdoors from the kitchen.
And the living room also seems to have, or the breakfast area has access to the patio, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Nice, beautiful dining room here as well, and that's a nice size at 11 by 12.
Yes, it's lovely. It's it is at the front of the home on the right-hand side as you walk in. It has 2 beautiful built-in cabinets that are original to the home, and it's just lovely for entertaining and having guests for dinner.
And all hardwood floors on the first
Yes,
floor?
the entire home actually features hardwood floors, except in the basement where there's wall-to-wall carpeting.
Right. Let's go upstairs. The master bedroom, is that part of the addition?
Yes, that's correct.
That's 17 by 13. That's a nice big size room.
And there's beautiful light coming in through the master bedroom because of the lovely windows. and the master. And it has two
Wonderful.
big, generous closets, as I mentioned earlier.
Great. Now, I think I just kind of forgot to mention this. There is a wood-burning fireplace in the living room as well.
That's correct, yes. And the living room is beautiful. It's very elegantly decorated and perfect for entertaining family and friends.
Beautiful crown molding throughout the living room as well.
Yes, actually, that was one of the upgrades that the current owners did when they purchased the home back in 2007.
Great. Now, this is the second floor bathroom, double sinks.
That's the ensuite bathroom
Okay.
and the master. Yes, that's correct.
And now the bedrooms. Tell me a little bit about these bedrooms.
So there are 3 bedrooms in addition to the master bedroom upstairs, and they share one full bath, and they're very generous in size. 2 of the 3 remaining bedrooms are very good size, and they have walk-in closets as well. And currently 1 bedroom is being used by 2 beautiful little twins.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And the house is cooled by central air conditioning, 2 zones throughout.
That's correct. The
Great.
current owners, that was one of the upgrades that they did after they purchased the home. Yep.
Fantastic. So, central air throughout.
Yes.
Upstairs, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2 full baths upstairs, lab on the first floor.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now let's talk about basement family room.
So the
Playroom.
The playroom is in the basement. It's great space for children to hang out there and play their games or video games. And there's also a washer and dryer in the basement, and it is there's plenty of space for additional storage in the basement as well. So there are actually 2 different play areas in the basement that the children would love to. I mean, it's great space for them to play.
It is great. And this is a leveled lot.
It's a beautiful corner lot, level. It's approximately 11,000 square feet, a little over 11,000 square feet. It's very flat. The driveway is flat as well, and there's plenty of space in the driveway for about 3 cars to park. There's a 1-car garage as well, and you can actually access the garage from the home, which is unusual for
Homes
a
of this
home
era
this
at that
era.
time.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a great feature on snowy days or rainy days where you bring
Yes,
groceries in.
absolutely. And these present owners actually did a very nice job building cubbies. So there's a really nice mudroom for the children to put their coats and shoes.
Great.
Yes.
So this house was built in 1957,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's truly one of those homes that has stood the test of time and will continue to do that for generations to
Yes,
come.
especially with the upgrades that these current sellers have included.
So in addition to the cosmetic upgrades of the crown
Crown molding.
moldings addition, they've also brought gas to the house,
Yes,
central air conditioning in
Yes.
2 zones.
yes,
That's a great feature. It's usually 1 zone for the whole house.
Yes,
and
yep.
one part gets real cold, the other
Yes,
one never
no,
really
it's-
gets. That's fantastic. And they also opened up the garage into the house.
I think that was a feature that the home had already.
Okay.
They didn't. They added the cubbies for the mudroom, but the home had that feature.
And this house is in the Bates School District?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, right in the Fells.
Yes.
Easy access to Route 9.
Yes.
And I think it's probably, a 1.5 mile walk to the Square train station.
Yes, that sounds about right, Steve.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
It's a wonderful location, easy access to all the major routes, and
So if somebody were to is interested in seeing this house, how could they get in touch with you?
well, they can call me at 781-775-9925. That's my mobile number, and that's the best way to reach me.
Wonderful.
And I'd be happy to make arrangements.
Felicia, thanks so much for showing us this property.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching today's episode of Another Home Sold. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we will have all the information of everything that you've seen today. If you're thinking about listing your home or just want an up-to-date market analysis, please contact me at 617-922-4714. I'm Steve.Verdelli with Coldwell-Banker, residential brokerage in Wellesley. Thanks for watching. See you next week. And remember, home is the nicest word there is.